Welcome to Faith Talks Wood podcast. I'm Will from Flatwood Acres.
And I'm Tom from Mountain Valley Maker.
And we're a podcast that talks about everything from Jesus to joinery and a little bit of everything in between. Tom, I had a cool experience this weekend. We had a busy week, and Friday I got home and my wife hadn't started dinner yet. And I said, hey, let's not make dinner. About 8 miles from us, there is an antique steam engine tractor show that happens every year. And I said, let's take the kids. It's a beautiful night. It's not that hot. And let's go down there and we'll eat at the tractor show and we'll just enjoy some time. And it was a blast. There was, hundreds of, and there was some steam tractors, hit and miss stuff. But there was a lot of just your old Massey Fergusons and old Fords and old John Deeres. Of course, Eli, even Olivia, they both loved it. Come around the corner, there's more tractors. Oh, let's look at the tractors. And we have 2 families from our church who are members of that show. And between them, they brought, I want to say 15 tractors or 20 tractors. I mean, they just had a ton of old tractors. And so had a good time going to the, it's called the Pennsylvania Pioneer Steam Engine Show or something. It was pretty neat. Yeah, it was a good time, and got to see some friends and ride on some tractors. They had like tractor rides, on a wagon and stuff like that. And then they were doing old school tractor pulls with these old tractors, and it was a lot of fun. So kind of makes me think maybe in the future, finding one of them old ones for a couple $100 and Eli and I can fix it up. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Good luck finding one for a couple $100. So
yeah.
I had a friend of mine back in North Carolina, and his thing was fixing up, he restored them to pristine condition, old tractors. And dude, them things sell for a mint. It is crazy. But, I love your tractor, my tractor, the modern day tractor with the hydraulic transmission and all, the hydrostatic transmission. But there's just something crazy appealing about an old tractor or an old pickup truck to me.
Right.
I honestly would almost give up my tractor for one of them old timey. I just think they're cool, man. But from a working standpoint, I like my hydrostatic transmission.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this weekend, I think I sent you a picture. I did some brush hogging finally.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate my cruise control on my tractor.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it nice?
So you get it set the right speed and you lock that thing in and you just go.
Just go, man.
I did we have, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4-ish fields of different sections of the fields. And I did one of them that's around the burn pile because eventually I need to get this burn pile burnt.
Yeah.
And then I took the bucket of the tractor and I pushed the burn pile. It's gotten so big and closer together to get it, nice and compact. And we were supposed to get rain today. It rained. I bet you it rained for maybe 15 minutes. So not enough rain to get things, and the garden needs water too, or we gotta get out there and water it. But so it's been a really, really good weekend. Even have to do some woodworking, which we'll talk about later on. But it's good. Ready to. I'm not really ready to get back into the week, but nonetheless, kind of cool. And so this podcast will come out after I tell my wife. So this Tuesday is our anniversary. Today is Sunday for those listening. So this podcast will come out a week afterwards. But one of my wife's favorite comedians is Nate Bargatze. He's a clean comedian. I think he's a believer, but anyways, he's coming locally here to Erie, PA in August. And so I got on and got some tickets for our anniversary because we're big on not buying each other stuff, but doing stuff, like having the experience of doing something. Yeah. And so we're going to, she'll find out Tuesday. I'm gonna tell her then. But yeah, so looking forward to that. But how have you been, man? What's been going on?
It's just been one of them weeks, man. So, and to cap it off today, me and my wife, I think I told you, we've been test driving cars because my car had been giving us problems, and we knew it got 270,000 miles on it. I mean, we have driven it cross country 7 times. I mean, it's served us well, but it's a hybrid, and it keeps giving us this thing where all of a sudden it says pull over something, the hybrid system, da-da-da. Turn the car off, turn it back on, put it in power mode, and I've been able to drive it, and then everything works fine. Today on the way home from church, it decided it was done. And it cut off on me.
Finally gave up the gusto.
It gave up the gusto. It cut off, and I coasted into the parking lot of a gas station, and it wouldn't do anything, wouldn't crank back. So I had to call my daughter to come get me, had to call a towing company to come pick up my car, take it to I took it to the Toyota dealer, and I'm going to have them look at it, see if they can, maybe it's a part that's not expensive and they can fix it. I don't want to put a ton of money into $270,000 vehicle, but also really don't want to fork out the cash for a vehicle right now. But if not, then I'm going to say, hey, all right, y'all know what it needs to fix. Will you give it for me? And I trade it in. So I was supposed to be getting up tomorrow morning and leaving for AWFS.
Oh.
And I can't get up tomorrow and leave for AWFS in our one and only vehicle and leave my wife here with no vehicle. So as of this moment, I probably am not getting to go to AWFS.
Oh man, can you rent a car for $50 a day or something?
I looked up the cost of renting a car, and to rent a car from tomorrow and return it Friday, like 300 something bucks. And I'm going to AWFS for an enjoyment. I've been looking forward to it. I got the free ticket from Surf Prep. I was going there to hang out with Hannah and Skylar, and then there was some stuff I wanted to look at. It was really about relationship building. It wasn't because I was going there to purchase. I was going to do 2 things was on my agenda. 1, hang out with Surf Prep because I love those guys. And 2, to go and spend time in the Laguna booth and the Jet booth and figure out whether I want a Jet or a Laguna drum sander. That is the only tool left to purchase in my shop that I want. And I've got my eye on a used one, but the guy wants too much. But I was hoping there would be a show special, and also that I could see them up close, because everybody loves the Laguna, which is the old Supermax. But I'm not going to name them on the podcast, that one of the national dealers that carries both Jet and Laguna, I called them and I talked to him and I asked him, and he's like, well, they're both good, but if anything goes wrong, you're going to get a lot better customer service out of Jet. He said,
interesting.
Laguna will eventually fix it. He's like, but he said their customer service is awful. And and Jet has a 5-year warranty, whereas Laguna has a 2-year. You can get free shipping on a Jet. Laguna charges $200. And so even though a lot of people love that Supermax, which is now owned by Laguna, all the other stuff makes me lean toward the Jet. But I wanted to see them both firsthand, talk to both companies, see if, just get a feeling. And other than that, it was just going to be walking around and having a few days of not working and enjoying, just looking at tools and, seeing.
They're fun. I've been to AWFS in Atlanta, and it's a blast.
Oh, it's awesome. I've been before, but I'm disappointed, but I can't leave my wife here with no car. I mean, what kind of husband would that be? I might not be a husband when I get back, So, so anyway, And if we get this whole car thing figured out tomorrow or Tuesday, I might choose to go ahead and ride down and just be there for a day or two, but I don't know. But
Gotcha, man.
it's just a tough decision because we have to write my daughter's tuition check in a few weeks, and it's just like, man, I just really don't want to buy a car right now, but got to be able to work,
Right.
and so anyway,
Right.
I don't know.
Man, that's too bad. Interestingly enough, so I work in IT and I deal with a lot of vendors. And even go with my tractor. I bought an LS, and it's a great tractor, no problems at all with it. But the reason I bought it was for the dealer support
Yes.
and for the service I know I would get. And the same with it, with one exception, which has been a good thing. Like there's a EDR, endpoint detection and response company called CrowdStrike. They're considered the king of the king as far as like back in the day you would call it antivirus software, right? It's not what it is anymore. It's changed, and we went with them because they're the best, and they've proven that to us. But I've went with other software vendors before, simply on their support or how the salesman or the what I hear from others about the support that they give or whatever. And so I'm all about making sure. So with me, right off the bat, without even touching the machines, I'd buy a Jet. If that's what you're hearing as far as the support, the warranty, and
one of the companies that is nationwide that sells both those brands, when I called their Denver store, that's what they told me.
right.
And I've got a Jet joiner out there that I love. It works fantastic. I've not had any problems with it, and so I'm really leaning towards that way. But I was hoping I would go to the show, and that because they all bring those tools there. Well, it costs them money to send them back. I was hoping I could go there and say, "Hey, can I buy that floor model?"
Right.
And get a
they
deal.
do that.
And it Friday afternoon, throw it in the back of the truck and bring it home. That was what I
Right.
was kind of hoping for. But and then to hang out with Surf Prep, and also hope that maybe I met some other companies that I didn't know about that might be Christian based that we could have on the podcast, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
so on. But But as of right now, I don't have a vehicle to go tomorrow because I'm not taking our one and only good vehicle and going 8 hours away. So
Right.
Anyway, that's enough about me, man.
Well, I encourage you though, if you do end up going, I would go to Laguna and tell them. Don't tell them who, but tell them what you've heard about them, because I've found too. I'm pretty candid with my vendors at work, and sometimes you can get the truth out of why.
Well, and another thing about it is like, so I also, there's only two tools I want to add to my shop: a drum sander and a laser. And so I've contacted two different people that had Laguna lasers, and one of them we had on our podcast. I'm not going to announce who it is here, but and he's like, dude, don't do it. And so that is like, and he said they will eventually get you the part, but he said it takes forever. Said the same exact thing on a different tool, and that just makes me nervous. But I tell you, everybody who has one of them Supermax drum sanders that I've talked to loves it.
Right.
I've yet to hear anybody say anything bad about one. Like it is a very well received product, and but so anyway, it's tough.
It's
tough decision. When you're spending that much money, and for me, it's I'm not a commercial shop where I'm gonna wear a tool out and then get another one. This is going to be a tool that's going to stay with me till I die.
Right.
And so, or at least I hope so.
Interesting. I don't know. I've never used a drum sander, honestly, to know what would make a good one or a bad one. what's if they're the comparable price, like what does this one do that the other one doesn't do? Does it do drum sanding? I guess, or is it leveled? Is it easy to level? Does it,
correct.
that kind of thing? And as far as your drum, is it open faced? Is it closed faced? Is it, there's so many.
Both of these, I want the 2550, no matter which one I go with. Both of them are open faced, and both of them, from what I've watched online, easily adjustable. But I think that the Laguna has a feature on it where like if you, or it adjusts itself if it detects too much pressure on the feed rate or something. And I don't know, the Jet might have that also. There's not a ton of videos, believe it or not. When you go searching on YouTube for reviews on both of them, there's not an astronomical. It's not like if you went on and look for videos on a Festool track saw. There's freaking a million of them out there.
Right.
But in my searching, there's a handful of them. And I can't find anything where somebody was able to compare both of them side by side. And so that's why I just really, I want to go to the show for that, hang out with Surf Prep, and then just walk around, see, make some other, connections,
Yeah.
So, and it's just fun to look at tools. So,
that's a blast. So, well, with that being said, I want to thank you to Surf Prep Sanding for being a partner of the podcast. If you want to get some sanding equipment, sanding pads, sanders, dust extractors, go to surfprepsanding.com. Use code FAITH, get 10% off. That helps the podcast out. Also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/Faith Talks Wood. And we ask for prayers for the podcast as we continue to do this and continue to have people on to share their testimonies. We ask and we want God to receive this podcast and to bless it. And so pray for the podcast. So without further ado, as you know, it's funny with podcasting, the same thing with like YouTube videos. You click the video and you know what it's about. Everybody knows that Tim's our guest. So Tom, why don't you tell us about Tim and how you got to know him?
Yeah, man. So I saw something that Tim built on Instagram, clicked on it, and then saw the name of his channel, Believers Woodshack, and I was like, this dude's got to be a believer. And of course, go read his bio, and then I was like, we got to get this guy on. So, yeah, man, welcome to the podcast, Tim Moss from Believers Woodshack. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. My name's Tim Moss. I have been married for the last 5 years. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I am a IT sysadmin by day and woodworker by night. Came to Christ about 11 years ago now. With the mother of my daughter. We were playing house without actually being married. Came to faith while with her, so it's a big blessing. I got to know the pastor and stuff of the church that she was going to through one of their events that they do, which is Faith in Action. So anytime that there's a fifth Sunday in the month, they go out into the community and do things for the community. This particular one that I got to know the pastor was doing oil changes for widows, single mothers, spouses of people who are deployed, that kind of stuff. And I taught the pastor how to do oil changes. So we just kind of bonded and got talking about that, and got talking to him outside of that, and started asking questions. And right around the time I came to faith, my ex-girlfriend and I were watching the movie Fireproof with Kirk Cameron. Saw a lot of myself in there, in Kirk Cameron's character, and decided I needed to make a change. I ended up buying that Love Dare book just on a whim, just to try it out and see what was going on. And the very first prayer in it was to ask God to teach me what true love was and pray that for a week. 3 days later, I found out I was going to be a father.
Oh, wow.
So, and that ever since then, I've just been all in. I mean, struggled over the time, but surely probably, well, about 2 months before about a month after I got saved and got baptized, my ex and I started having problems and stuff, and we ended up splitting up about a month before my daughter was born. So I mean, my daughter's always known to households and stuff like that. The first year was very difficult. My ex was very upset. We couldn't find any common ground. I didn't get to see my daughter much that first year. And then all of a sudden, like a switch was flipped. Was doing a lot of praying with my men's group and everything, and they were a huge support system during all that first year. And after about a year, she just said, "What do you want?" And I said, I want my daughter 50% of the time. And she's like, "I can't find a reason why not to do it." So ever since then, we've gotten along great. We see it every day in my daughter. I mean, my daughter is the most well-behaved child I've ever met. And I mean, just a true blessing on so many levels. So that's just been great. Met my wife at the beginning. We went on 2 dates before COVID hit. And so COVID forced us both to slow down and we were able to get to know each other. And funny story about that is the woman that introduced me to my wife tried to set us up a few years prior to that. And my wife was getting ready to go on a mission trip at that time, and it just never worked out. And so they tried again a few years later, and here we are.
So. That's awesome, man. Very cool. So tell us a little bit more about, where from that beginning. I love how you said that you're pretending, like I think you said pretending like you're living together. And me and my wife did the same thing. And I've actually got a few guys that come to my midst group that are doing the same right there. And I can feel the Holy Spirit pulling on them, like, okay, got to step into the commitment now. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that is there's so many guys out there that we pretend to be married and live with somebody or in a house, cooking dinners, going to work, and pretending like we're husband and wife, but we're not actually made that commitment. Now, I've been married almost 24 years now, but we lived together and we were playing that fake life before. And I think there's so many people. So tell us about that and like how the Holy Spirit pulled you into saying, hey, I got to be all in, committed, and how y'all got married.
So, I mean, with my ex, I mean, yeah, we were playing house without actually being married. And it was before I was a believer and stuff. And as I started to learn more about Christ and everything else, I wanted to be true to what the Bible was telling us. And it started causing conflicts. So, things unfortunately didn't work out, but I found my faith and got my daughter out of that relationship. So that was huge. For my current wife, she's a believer. I mean, she's Catholic. I'm not. So, I mean, we've had some struggles trying to maneuver through that at times, but we both wanted to be faithful to the Bible. So did all the things that you're supposed to do. I mean, so it brought us a lot closer to each other and closer to God in the process. And it was a true blessing. I mean, it's great.
That's awesome.
Interesting. So you said you're Protestant, your wife is Catholic, right?
Yeah.
What church do you attend, or what denomination?
Mine is an E-free church.
Oh, you're like the third person
In
we've
like
had
the
on the
last 2
podcast.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been E-free, and you probably heard us talk about it on the podcast. And then my in-laws are E-free. So
Yeah.
basically, I always joke that the one guy didn't. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if he didn't appreciate the joke. Said E-free is basically Baptist. Um, so that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then does like your wife go to mass and you go to church, or how's that work?
We did that for the first 4 years that we were married. Just here in the last couple months, actually, we made the commitment to. I would go to mass with her, and then we would go over to my church after that, so that we
Okay.
could attend church together. It was
Okay.
we were starting to have some struggles, and I think that was a pain point for us.
Right.
So just being able to be together and worship together has been great.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and with Catholicism, there's not much evangelism with it, so maybe coming to an E-free church will help her understand more of the Protestant way. I don't know.
Yeah, she says
I don't.
she says that my church is a good Bible study. So
That's awesome.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. Very good. Well,
I think the most powerful part is that you said it, that you're both wanting to do by the word of God, like doing what the Bible said, and so that you're both seeking after God. I believe that God's going to bring both of you to one place where you're. I think y'all will be attending one church in the future. I really do, because you're both chasing after it, and you being willing to go to mass and her being willing to come to your church for Bible study, and you said it most importantly there, worship together, and it's just something powerful about that. So, man, that's awesome stuff.
Yeah,
it's definitely helped our relationship and grow closer to each other. So.
Right. Very good, man. Well, yeah, at least you guys are making those steps. A lot of I actually know some people that are different in that sense, and they go to different churches, and you can kind of see it in their marriage, right? It's like, hey, you guys should really be equally yoked. It's an important part. So well done on making those steps and going that direction. So tell us about woodworking and what got you into it, working with your hands. And you've heard us say, Drew Witt brought on the pod, I use this term all the time, those who work with their mind, like you and I do in IT, rest with their hands, and those who work with their hands rest with their mind. And so how did you get into woodworking?
So I started taking shop class back in middle school and fell in love with it at that point. Try to do little things here and there over the years, and took shop all the way through high school, and made a little clock and a TV stand. The TV stand I still have today. It's the most sturdy piece of furniture I own. But here a few years ago, a friend of my dad's, his health was declining. He was a cabinet maker and had a whole garage full of tools, and I was able to get a great deal on those tools. So brought him into the garage, and my wife wasn't too happy, but took over the garage and turned it into a wood shop, and tried to have the tools be roll away for a bit, and just got to the point where they were left out more and more, and so she finally accepted that, and started doing little things here and there, and decided I wanted to try to make a go of the woodworking as a side hustle, and so been doing it since, and been dealing with some medical issues off and on over the last few years as well. So it's kind of put the woodworking on the back burner at times, and but every chance I have to get in into the shop, I'm taking full advantage of it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've talked on the podcast, I recently changed my Instagram handle to Flatwood Acres and stuff. with my busy life and work and church and everything, I just haven't had time to get to the shop, and I did today or this weekend. So, but I understand kind of having to put it on the back burner and say right now it's not the season. So very good. So, what kind of stuff do you enjoy making? I saw your Instagram. You have a few different outdoor things you've done and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing a little bit of everything. Haven't found my niche yet, but yeah, I get bored easily, so I don't like to make a lot of things over and over again. So yeah, just trying to find something that works and see what I can get to stick and go from there. Currently, I'm trying to work on restoring a cedar chest that belonged to my grandma.
Oh, wow.
It was in real bad shape, and my cousin was going to throw it away, and she offered it to me, and so I'm in the process of repairing it and trying to get it put back together.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I was looking through my wood pile today to get some pieces for what I was working on, and I have some big aromatic cedar. I think this stuff was cut from telephone pole or something. I don't remember what it's from, but it's real wide, like 2-inch thick cedar that my father-in-law had given me, and I was like, that smells good. I gotta make something out of that. Oh, there's nothing like planing down some cedar in the shop. It just makes the whole shop smell amazing.
Yes,
That,
sir.
or if you've never worked with sassafras, that's probably my favorite. It has a very similar smell to cedar, but sassafras is more. It's kind of nostalgic to me. I don't know why, but when I'm working with sassafras, I'm like, some of the first nice woodworking I ever did was with cedar and sassafras, and so it that's fun.
That's
I
cool.
have not worked with sassafras, so
Have you?
I have not.
Oh, you have not. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure where it grows. If it grows out Midwest where you're at, I'm sure it does. Cedar's kind of everywhere. Sassafras, we have a lot of it around here, though.
Yeah. So you said you took over your garage. Tell us about your shop, kind of what your tool setup is and all.
Well, I have a Delta contractor saw, which is okay with really poor dust collection. Trying to figure out a new solution for that. But I have a lot of the big tools so the big joiner, the plane Delta or DeWalt planer, big radial arm, drill press, miter saw, have a drum sander. So a lot of the things already, but
You said you have a drum sander?
yeah.
What kind do you have?
It's a Performax 1632.
Okay. So do you like it?
I went to use it the first time and the belt snapped and it's just been kind of sitting in the corner.
Okay. Well, there's one. Typically, everybody asks that has a Performax or, they changed name and Laguna bought them out and all, Supermax, but the people love them. They and seem to last a long time. But that is the next tool for my shop. I want a drum sander so bad. But yeah. But you should be. You said just the sandpaper snapped, or the belt that drives
the belt
it.
on the bottom.
Oh,
snapped,
okay.
So
Gotcha.
Just got to order one and get it
Get it
installed.
done. Yeah, I'd be getting that thing fixed, man.
Yeah.
Very good. Do you have dust collection in your shop?
I have a single stage, very old one, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have. I've got I think mine's a Delta, just like it's got a bag thing on it, but I do have I built my own Cyclone, so it goes from my Cyclone then to the dust collector, so it does pretty well, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I've
It
got
sucks.
a Harvey. I love it, man. My Harvey, that thing is amazing. It does a great job of collecting dust and all, but it's also very quiet compared to some of the cyclones on the market. And I would highly recommend it. Yeah, highly. But yeah. So what kind of radial arm saw? You said you had a radial arm saw?
It's a radial arm drill press.
A radial arm drill press.
Yeah, I mean, it slides in and you can move the head in and out, and
oh wow,
it's an older Delta one, but
man, I don't think I've ever
never
seen
heard.
one.
I'm about to Google that right now.
No kidding. I would like to find me an old Delta radial arm saw. The guy that taught me woodworking had one in his shop, and I love that thing.
That is interesting.
But yeah, that's wild. Radial. So
I'm about to share my screen, so
that would come
now
in handy,
the
though,
viewers
because
won't be able to see it. But
one drawback of a regular drill press is the depth in which you can place a hole. So how far out into a piece with that could you?
Here you go, Tom.
I haven't measured it to see how much depth it is. The stuff that I've done, it's all been pretty stationary for now. But I can see coming up, I could potentially have to start rotating it, or moving it.
Wow.
Is yours something like one of these here? Interesting.
Yeah, that is, man. There's so many tools out there I've never used or seen.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty slick.
Arm drill press.
I'll be darned.
Huh.
Learn something new every day,
Very
man.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty neat. Very good. So what are you working on in the shop now, Tim?
Getting ready. My nephew just got baptized a week ago, so I'm gonna build him a little keepsake box.
That's cool.
I like it.
Otherwise, just trying to finish up that cedar chest that belonged to my grandma.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what is like your? I know you said that you kind of like me. I just like making all different stuff, and I get distracted learning one thing, and once I shouldn't say master it, but once I get pretty proficient at it, and then like I don't have a lathe, but I want to learn to turn so bad I can't stand it. One day I'm gonna have a lathe in my shop. It ain't gonna be no time soon, but at some point. But what is your favorite tool? What's your favorite kind of thing to do?
I would love to get into turning as well at some point. But I mean, just playing around with the router table, I enjoy doing that.
You know, the funny thing is, so I love, Bob Claggett and Jimmy DiResta and David Prosciutta that have the, what's the name of their Making It podcast? And I watch all three of them on YouTube. And David Prosciutta just had a video out, and he was talking about he built a new router table, but he was talking about how he never used his router table, and how two reasons: one, because it made mess, and second, because it scared him to death. And to me, the router table, when I was watching, I was like, because he's a great woodworker and he's got like this pristine shop, but I was like, that is one of my favorite tools in my shop. I love it. It's just, I don't know. I'm like...
No, so I agree with Dave on scaring you. And I have a story about a router table. So I had this old, like, stamped, I don't remember, Craftsman router table.
Oh, yeah. I had one of them, too. Got it at a yard sale.
Yeah. Well, I had a guy I worked with. He was a super cool guy, and he gave me a bunch of stuff. My first table saw, and it was a stamped, like, cheap Craftsman from back in like the 80s and all that. But this router table, I had used it quite a bit. I built when COVID happened. I'd got a new job, and for all intents and purposes, my salary doubled overnight. And so I had a job. We just had a kid, had money, and nowhere to go. And so I built the Adirondack chairs that we have. I bought the plans on Rockler, and I built really nice ones. And so I used the router table to round over all the edges on all the slats and all the pieces and all the stuff. And that router table, it was fine. It was ghetto, but it worked. Had a big, like, old Craftsman, 2 horsepower router on it. Well, we moved and I took over the garage. My wife was gracious enough to allow me to have the 2-car garage. And I was using that router table for something. I remember what it was. And I always tightened the bits, before I started. Even if I changed one, or if I didn't, I'd just check it. And the chuck on that thing went bad. Middle of me routing something, and if that bit didn't shoot up and hit the ceiling and take off, that scared the crap out of me. Like, nah, man, I'm good. So
I think for most people, the scariest thing on a router table, and I would say the first time I ever used one, did the same thing, because you're used to going on one side with the router when you're using it. Not
right.
It's upside down in the router table. So when you're using it right side up, you're used to going on one side. And like I think every beginner probably does it. I did it. And you go on the wrong thing, you're going with the rotation a bit, and it just jerks it out of your hand. And
right.
That scare you half to death. Or like if you're doing something wrong, like and you had a slender piece, like it could shoot something out like a bullet. But
oh yeah.
But once you learn how to use one, and particularly, I would say with a bigger router table, that's one thing about, I had that same little stamp Craftsman that I got at a yard sale for like $10, and not having a big enough table and platform for your piece to stand on, not knowing which side to put the piece you're working on. And the only other time I've scared myself to death is when I was trying to manually hold something too small I shouldn't have been trying to hold.
Yeah.
And so now I've got jigs for holding small stuff and all. But yeah, once you learn how to use one, it's such an amazing, versatile tool. Like, you can do so much with it. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Not just rounding over edges.
Right. Kind of wishing I had a router table today. Well, I do kind of have one, but I don't have it set up for what I was doing in the shop. But Tom, have you worked in the shop at all this last week?
No. So I thought I was leaving for AWFS tomorrow. And so I've been getting all my stuff done out on the farm so I could be gone for a week and getting all my sign installs. Dude, I installed sign after sign after sign. I went to Aspen twice this week. I did 9 vehicles here in my shop. I went and installed graphics on a store and went and installed 2 3x10 banners and 1 4-foot but 19-foot banner. That's not hard. It's just being up on a ladder until you're in the middle of installing and the wind starts blowing.
Ooh,
and then you're trying to manage the banner. But yeah, so I got all my installs done. Literally got everything I needed to do on the farm so I could be gone all week and just enjoy the trip. And then my car breaks down today.
Oh, man.
So I will probably, now that I don't have any installs for this week, and I only have a small amount of work that really needs to be done on the farm, I'll probably get some shop time because don't have a car to go anywhere. And, so yeah, man, that's my life.
Yeah. Interesting.
How about you? So you said you did some woodworking. What'd you do?
Yeah. Well, before I talk about that, I always talk about the ducks. We have these ducks, and they're out in the coop. There's one last thing I wanted to do on the coop, and then it was done, 100% done, and that was put a gutter on it to get a rain catch. We have several blue water 55-gallon drums. I just need the gutter hangers to put it down in. And so I did that today's Sunday, yesterday. And it was that was kind of fun. I've never hung gutters before. And so I bought like the hidden fasteners and did that. And it rained a little bit today, enough that I got like an inch in the bottom of the barrel. But I put a spigot on the barrel and the whole thing. And so just kind of cool. That was kind of fun. But yeah, so my wife, Grace's Glass Works, she does stained glass. She made bookends out of stained glass. But
Oh,
to
I saw those.
but to complete the bookends, she needed wood, with slots in them, so 90-degree, angle wood to slot, and she'll glue them in
Yep.
to the to there. And so she's been asking me. She's had those done for like a week and a half or something. And yesterday I got out to the shop after brush hogging and being out working on the coop and everything. And for whatever reason, now my shop only is on one circuit, not on one breaker. And so, I'm not going to change that because it's not that big a deal right now. But for whatever reason, when I run I've got one of the Delta glider, the knuckle glider chop saws. And whenever I run that thing, the second time I run it, it always trips the breaker. I don't know why. It always trips the breaker. And so that happened last night. I was like, forget it. I'm done. I did a bunch of stuff, milling down some lumber with the planer and then table saw. And then I was cutting some stuff to length and it tripped a breaker. And I said, I'm done. I was tired anyways. But I got back out there today. And so I made six sets or six. So 3 sets of them. 2 of them I made out of hickory because I hate myself. And the third set, I don't know what kind of wood it is, if I'm honest with you. Pastor of my church, there was a project last year that I worked on for him. And he wanted me to laser engrave something. I don't remember what it was. But he brought me this wood and I tested it with my meter, my moisture meter, and it was like soaking wet. And so I was like, I can't use this. Then he ended up bringing me something else. I don't remember what that project was, but he said I could have that. And so it's been sitting in my shop for a year and a half. And he thought it was like a pine or something, but it's too hard for a pine. Not like a pine, but like a Douglas fir or something. That's what he thought it was, or a poplar or something. I don't know, but it's too hard for any of that. I don't know what it is. It's kind of a clear wood. It sands better than ash. I know it's not ash, but it's harder than like a cherry. I don't know what it is. So I made one set out of that stuff. And basically all it was is cutting down the wood and then putting slots in it so that the 90-degree bookend glass things that she made can be fit in there.
And so that was like the sunflower looking thing.
Yeah, there's sunflower. She's done 2 of the sunflower, and then one is like, it's really cool. It's like books with a coffee mug on the end.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw the sunflower one.
Yeah, I don't think she's posted the coffee or the books one yet. It's like books and then like a coffee mug on the end or something.
Yeah.
And so anyways, yeah. So I got to do all the stuff. I milled wood. I had rough sawn wood. I had to mill it down, cut it on the saw, table saw, and I used my chop saw and put grooves in it and use glue and clamps. I mean,
what would you use to put the grooves in it?
Just a table saw blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a table saw blade. That's why I said it'd be nice to have the a router table to get a 1/4-inch bit and just put grooves in it. But
yeah,
so I had to do a few different passes to get the groove thick enough for the glass to sit down in. But yeah, so it was kind of fun. And I may be having another project for my wife. She's my biggest customer coming up. She had somebody reach out to her. And this is funny, Tom, you've taken custom orders before. I don't know, Tim, if you have. And I have a little bit in the past. Some people, and this is a term my dad always says, some people you can hang with a new rope and they'd still complain. There's a lady that wants my wife to make this custom, like, big panel that she wants in with a frame around it. And my wife has went back and forth like 6 or 7 times with design with this lady. Oh, can you change this part or just this one? Just I want this curve to be this, and just I told my wife, she's asked me like, how do I price this with the frame? And so we priced it. Like, I wouldn't say it's high.
Price it
It's
high and get your money up front.
that well, that's just it. And so that might be coming down the pipe here at some point. Kind of not looking forward to it because the way she's been scrutinized. My wife is a phenomenal artist, both with like design and actually making stuff. And this lady has just been raking her over the coals with what about this? I'd rather have it this way. And I'm like, you're just going to scrutinize my frame if I build you a frame.
So some people are like that, man. And so ironically, at that one of the jobs I just did in Aspen, so they provided the artwork to my customer that I did the install for another sign company that digitally printed thing. It was a perfect print. Like, so what happens with digital printers is if you get a speck of dust on the roll of media, when the digital printer prints, it prints the piece of dust,
Right.
and then it'll be a pinhole. Like you cannot see it. Well, this was a backlit film. There was like a couple of teeny tiny pinholes where there was a speck of dust when they printed it. Like if you stood back a couple feet, you couldn't see it. But if you stood right up on it, you could see it. And this company's out of New York doing this stuff for the rich people in Aspen, and their complaints, so they may end up be sending me. It's not on me; it's on the print company, but I believe it was in their print file. And I told the guy, I said, there's two things that could happen. As like the person who did the artwork, if they just scanned something, this very well could be in the artwork. I said, or it could have been a speck of dust that got on the film when they were printing. I said, but they can go and check the artwork, zoom in and see if it's something like that. Well, the company decides to send them a new file and they want them to reprint it and send me up there to install it, and they want it done ASAP. And I'm like, they called me and I was like, dude, I sat there and took pictures of it and I showed the guy. He approved it. I said, but I sent the pictures to y'all from there. I said, I think it might be in your print file. I said, I think y'all need to go zoom in. I said, I bet they figured it out. It was on them, and they're trying to pull one over on you. So, but man, yeah, there's people out there. And then ironically, the other job I did in Aspen was for a company. They're there renting a space for 4 months. They're just for the summer. I'm installing this stuff. It's for this high-end jewelry company. The other one was for the high-end watch company, and that's the company that's griping. But then I'm out there installing, and this young lady walks by, beautiful young lady with her mom, and the name of the company was like Suzanne and whatever her last name, really fancy graphics, really nice jewelry. And she's like, you're doing a great job. We really appreciate you coming up today. She said, I'm Suzanne, by the way. This young lady, I thought she was like in her 20s. She was 30 years old and had started this jewelry company right out of design school. I was like, wow. I said, now that's impressive to be your age and already there. And so she was just so thankful and so appreciative of me coming up on a Saturday and doing the job. She said, you're very meticulous about your work. And she said, it's so perfect. I appreciate it. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum is somebody from New York complaining about, dude, a pinhole that's so small in the print, your human eye can't see it unless you're right dead up on it. It's like, so that's just what you get with customers. You never know. There's some of those that are going to gripe about everything and nitpick it to death. And then there's some that are going to just be so easy to work with and so appreciative. So I tell your wife, get a deposit and price it high.
Part of her thing is when she does custom work, it's half up front and it's non-refundable.
Yes.
And so, because what could happen, she's actually had this happen before. She had somebody make her something custom last year, and it wasn't anything big, but I think it would have been. I think it was like $100 piece, and she didn't get any deposit. And here's the thing, because of what it was, she couldn't resell it. Right. It's not like you could just, because it was custom or whatnot. So it's like she was out all that time and energy and stuff. And the person just kind of stood her up. And I'm like, from now on, you don't start anything until you get 50% deposit on custom stuff. And most people are fine with that. I mean, anybody that's going to pay for, custom art stuff, they know what they're getting and they're willing to pay for it. So,
yep. Man, Tim, tell everybody where they can find you on the interweb, on the IG and Facebook and YouTube and all that.
Believers Woodshack on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story and your testimony, and hope that the cedar chest goes well, and I'll be praying for you and your wife and the church. You guys are going to each other's church, and hopefully that ends up being a fruitful thing for both of you. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Tim.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
Y'all just keep seeking the Lord together. Yeah, you guys are going to be on the right track together. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good. Well, until next week, I'm Will from Flatwood Acres.
And I'm Tom from Mountain Valley Maker.